At my wedding reception, my cousin grabbed the mic and screamed, "She doesn't deserve a husband. She's been cheating behind his back for months." Gasps echoed through the room. I stayed calm, smiled, and played surveillance footage on the projector. Footage of her sneaking into my fiancé's room the night before, trying to seduce him, and him shoving her out the door. She screamed. That video is edited. But by morning, the clip had gone viral online. She lost her job, her engagement was canceled, and her own parents publicly disowned her on Facebook.
Hey, Hedge.
I've been sitting on this story for a while, trying to figure out if I should even tell it. But the more I think about it, the more I realize people need to hear what happened when I finally stopped protecting someone who didn't deserve it. I'm 29 female. I live in Austin, Texas. I married my husband Liam, 31 male, earlier this month. What should have been the happiest day of my life turned into something else. Not ruined, no. It actually turned out better than I could have ever planned. But it got ugly first. Let me back up. My cousin Sabrina, 28 female, was someone I grew up with. We were thrown together since birth. Our moms are sisters and insisted we were like twins. We weren't. Even as little kids, Sabrina was the kind of girl who had to be first at everything, first to get attention, first to get presents, first to win the race even if she had to cheat. When we got older, it only got worse. I got a scholarship to UT Austin. She called it a safety school, even though she never even applied there. I got a great job after college. She said I only got it because they needed to fill a diversity quota. We're both white, by the way. I started dating Liam. She laughed and said he was okay looking at best, but probably just using me to stay in the country. He's from Houston. It was constant, but I let it slide.
She's family.
That's what I kept telling myself. When Liam proposed, I almost didn't tell her right away. But Mom said I needed to be inclusive. So, I told Sabrina. She didn't even fake happiness. All she said was, "Hope he doesn't realize what he's signing up for." I should have seen it coming. The wedding planning went fine on the surface. Sabrina wasn't a bridesmaid, my choice, but she was invited with a +1, her fiancé, Drew. At every family get-together leading up to the wedding, she had something negative to say. The dress is too plain. The food sounds basic. Liam's family is kinda trashy. I smiled, nodded, moved on. I didn't want drama before my wedding. The night before the wedding, Liam and his groomsmen stayed at a rented Airbnb about 20 minutes outside of town. Standard stuff, beers, bad jokes, staying up too late. One of the guys, bless him, thought it would be funny to install a cheap security camera in the living room area, something to catch the shenanigans. Liam didn't even know it was there. It wasn't hidden, just placed up in a corner facing the hallway. That camera is the only reason the truth came out. Because around 2:00 a.m., after almost everyone had crashed out, Sabrina showed up. In the video, you can see her stumbling into the house. Drew wasn't with her, wandering down the hall and slipping into Liam's room. She's wearing this tiny silk thing, barely covering anything. You see her crawl onto the bed, trying to touch him. And Liam? He shoves her off so hard she almost falls. He jumps up, points to the door, says something you can't quite hear, and pushes her out, locking the door behind her. That footage saved everything. The next day, wedding day, I felt off. I didn't know why. Maybe it was nerves. Maybe it was gut instinct. But Liam was acting normal.
Sweet.
Loving. No signs anything was wrong. We got through the ceremony, a little church with flowers and candles, my dad crying harder than me, and headed to the reception. The reception was gorgeous. The old mansion we rented had a courtyard strung with lights, a live band, tons of food and wine. Everyone was laughing, dancing, drinking. And then, the DJ handed the mic around for toasts and little speeches. People said nice things, our friends, our families, even Liam's 80-year-old grandma got up and talked about how much she loved me already. Then Sabrina got the mic. I remember every second. She staggered out into the middle of the dance floor. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair was coming loose. She was drunk. Maybe more than drunk. She gripped the mic and screamed so loud it echoed, "SHE doesn't deserve a husband. She's been cheating on him for months.
Gasps. Actual gasps.
It was like a bomb had gone off. People turned to look at Liam. At me. I swear someone dropped their glass. My aunt, not even Sabrina's mom, another aunt, gasped so loud I heard it across the room. I didn't move. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I walked over to the projector setup on the side of the courtyard. It was still plugged in from the slideshow earlier. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the Bluetooth, and hit play. And there it was. The footage of Sabrina sneaking into Liam's room, trying to get into his bed, and him shoving her out. Silence. Total, heavy silence. People started whispering. Someone in the back said, "Oh my God." Someone else said, "Is that Sabrina?" Sabrina started screaming almost immediately. "That video is fake. You edited it. She's lying." No one believed her. My mom walked over and took the mic from the DJ booth herself. Calm voice. Shaking hands. She said, "Let's all take a minute to thank the bride and groom for their honesty and to remind everyone here that actions have consequences." Security, yes, we had security, came over and gently but firmly walked Sabrina off the property. She was still screeching that the footage was deepfake AI and illegal as they dragged her into an Uber someone else ordered. The rest of the night? A little awkward at first, but once the shock wore off, people kept coming up to hug me, to tell me they were proud of me for staying calm. That Liam was a good man. That love wins. By the next morning, it was everywhere. One of Liam's cousins had filmed the whole thing, the accusation, the video, the meltdown, and put it on TikTok. It went viral. Millions of views. People tearing Sabrina apart in the comments, calling her desperate, pathetic, evil. She lost her job the next day. Her boss told her she was an embarrassment to the company.
Drew,
her fiancé, broke up with her over text. He sent one message, "I never want to see you again." Her own parents posted this huge Facebook post disowning her, said they were ashamed and devastated and cutting ties until she gets professional help. Sabrina disappeared off social media, deleted everything. No posts, no tweets, nothing. Nobody in the family has heard from her. Some say she moved out of state. Some say she's staying with some old friend. I don't really care. Because me? I'm married to the love of my life. We're planning our honeymoon. And I know, deep down, that I didn't have to lift a finger to ruin her. She did it to herself. After the wedding, things were quiet for a little while. Liam and I went on a short honeymoon to Colorado. We couldn't take a long one yet because of work, but it was peaceful. Snow, fireplaces, quiet. No drama. No family. Exactly what we needed. When we got back, though, things started happening. First, I got a strange text from an unknown number. It said, "Hope you're happy, bitch. You're not done." I didn't respond. Blocked it. A few days later, my mom called. She sounded shaken. Turns out, Sabrina's parents, the same ones who disowned her, were now getting harassed. Someone egged their house in the middle of the night. Someone spray-painted "traitor" across their garage door. They had to call the cops, but there were no cameras, no proof it was her. Then Liam's parents started getting weird calls at their house. Heavy breathing. Hang-ups. Sometimes whispering, "You'll pay." Again, no proof it was Sabrina. But who else would it be? I tried not to let it get to me. I told myself she was just angry, lashing out. She'd get bored and move on. I was wrong. One night, about 2 months after the wedding, I got home from work, tired, hungry, ready to crash. I opened the door and found red paint splattered all over the walls inside. Not outside. Inside. Our wedding pictures were ruined. Our new couch was destroyed. There were words painted across the living room wall. Liar and slut. I froze. Called 911 immediately. The cops showed up fast. Took statements. It wasn't a random break-in. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was missing. They told us it looked personal. Like someone wanted to send a message. There was no forced entry, though, which meant someone had a key. That's when it clicked. During the wedding, when people were mingling and staying at different hotels and Airbnbs, we had made extra keys to the Airbnb house. Sabrina must have copied one,
Held on to it.
waited, and used it to get inside our place later. I was furious. The cops said they couldn't arrest her without proof. No fingerprints. No video. It would be a he said, she said situation unless we caught her. I knew we had to be smart. So Liam and I decided to fight fire with fire. We installed hidden cameras all over our house. Every room. Motion activated. Tiny. We changed the locks. We told no one. Not even close family. Then we waited. For 3 weeks, nothing happened. I started to doubt myself. Maybe she got scared. Maybe she moved on. Then one Friday night, we went out to dinner downtown, stayed out late on purpose. When we got home, the back door was wide open. At first, my stomach dropped. I thought we'd been robbed.
But no.
The TVs, the jewelry, the laptops, all still there. What wasn't there was my wedding dress. It was gone from the closet. And someone had written, "whore," on our bathroom mirror in lipstick. I checked the cameras immediately. And there she was. Sabrina.
Plain as day.
Letting herself in through the back door. Going straight for the bedroom. Grabbing the dress. Trashing the bathroom. I called the cops again, and this time, I had everything on tape. They arrested her the next morning. It turned out she had been stalking us for weeks. Parking down the street at night. Following Liam when he went to work. Even walking by our house in the middle of the night. She was charged with breaking and entering, vandalism, stalking, and theft. It made the local news. Not national, not viral, but enough that people in town found out. Her mugshot was everywhere. It was bad. But it wasn't over yet. While Sabrina was out on bail, waiting for her court date,
Her mother called me.
not to apologize, not to beg, to threaten. She said if I didn't drop everything, if I didn't let it go, they would sue me for defamation. She said I had ruined Sabrina's life and embarrassed the family beyond repair. She said I needed to be the bigger person and forgive. I couldn't believe it. After everything I was supposed to forgive, Liam lost it. He took the phone from me and told her, "Your daughter ruined herself. She's lucky all she's facing is jail time. If you come near us again, I'll take you to court too." He hung up. We blocked them all. But deep down, I knew they weren't done yet. After we blocked Sabrina's mother, I hoped that would finally be the end of it. But a week later, we got a notice from a lawyer. It was real. A real lawsuit. Sabrina was suing us for emotional distress. The papers said we had defamed her character by playing the footage publicly at our wedding reception. That we maliciously embarrassed her. That we caused her to lose her job, her fiancé, her reputation. I sat at the kitchen table, reading the paperwork in total disbelief. It was like she had completely detached from reality. Liam looked over my shoulder and said, "This is insane. She can't win. She has no case." He was right. But it didn't mean it wouldn't cost us time, money, and stress. Our wedding savings, what we had left over for the honeymoon we wanted to take later, now had to go to hiring a lawyer. It made me sick. We hadn't done anything wrong. We didn't fabricate anything. We showed the truth. Still, court is expensive. Even when you're right. Our lawyer, this sharp, no-nonsense woman named Frances, told us not to worry. Frances said, "She thinks she's smart. But once I'm done with her, she'll wish she stayed in hiding." I believed her. The lawsuit dragged on for months. Sabrina didn't show up for half the preliminary hearings. Her lawyer, some cheap guy she probably found online, kept filing weird motions that got thrown out. But the stress was getting to me. I couldn't sleep. I started second-guessing myself. Was there some tiny chance she could win? Could a judge be crazy enough to side with her? I didn't think so, but still. Meanwhile, Sabrina kept trying to mess with us. She mailed us creepy letters, cut-out magazine letters glued together, like a horror movie. Things like, "Liars never win. I'll never forgive you. You think you won? Think again." We reported everything. The police said they couldn't do much unless she physically hurt us.
It was a nightmare.
Liam stayed calm. He kept telling me, "We have the truth. That's all we need." Still, it felt like every day another hit came. Then one night about 6 months after the wedding, there was a fire. Not at our house, at my parents' house. Someone threw a Molotov cocktail into their backyard shed. Thank God it didn't hit the house. Thank God nobody was hurt. The fire department said it looked like arson. No fingerprints. No witnesses. But we all knew who it was. This wasn't just family drama anymore. This was dangerous. The cops opened an official investigation. They questioned Sabrina. But she had an alibi for that night. At least, a fake one. It felt like we were trapped in this endless cycle of fear, anger, and waiting. Meanwhile, the court date for her lawsuit against us kept creeping closer. Then, just 2 weeks before the court hearing, we got the break we needed. Sabrina messed up. Bad. Turns out, she had been bragging to some of her old friends, people she thought were still loyal, about how she was ruining my life. She sent texts admitting she was the one who trashed our house, wrote on our walls, mailed the threats, and even hinted at knowing about the fire. And one of those friends screenshotted everything and sent it to our lawyer. Frances called me at work. I'll never forget what she said. She just handed us the win. Gift wrapped. It was finally happening. The tables were turning. And for once, Sabrina wasn't going to slip away without consequences. It was hot as hell in Austin. August heat that made your skin feel like it was frying. Liam and I sat on one side of the courtroom with Frances, our lawyer. Sabrina sat across from us with her cheap, sweaty-looking lawyer. She looked awful, skinny, tired, hair fried from too much bleach. When the judge came in, the room got tense. You could feel it. Sabrina's lawyer tried to argue first. He stood up and said we had deliberately humiliated her, that playing the footage was a public attack, and that it caused her severe emotional suffering. He pointed at Sabrina, who did this pathetic little fake crying thing. Tissue dabbing, sniffling. But then it was Frances' turn. Frances stood up, calm as a rock, and said, "Your Honor, not only was the footage authentic, but Ms. My last name acted in self-defense against false accusations made publicly by the plaintiff." Then she dropped the screenshots. All of them. The ones where Sabrina admitted to vandalizing our home, stalking us, mailing threats, hinting about the fire. The judge's face changed immediately. He ordered a recess to review everything. When he came back, it was like flipping a switch. He dismissed Sabrina's lawsuit with prejudice, meaning she couldn't file it again. He also said there was enough evidence to open criminal charges against her for harassment, vandalism, stalking, and intimidation. The court officers stood up. And right there in front of everyone, her parents, my parents, a few cousins, they handcuffed Sabrina and led her out of the courtroom. She screamed. She screamed like a wild animal. "This isn't fair. She destroyed my life. You'll pay for this." Nobody moved. Nobody said a word. It was finally over. Or so I thought. Afterward, when Liam and I walked out of the courthouse, my mom caught up with me. She looked angry. Not at Sabrina. At me. She pulled me aside and hissed, "You should have just stayed quiet. We don't destroy family like this." I stood there, stunned. After everything Sabrina did, trying to seduce my husband, lying at my wedding, trashing our home, stalking us, threatening us, I was the problem?
It hit me then.
Some people will protect family, no matter how evil they are. Even if it burns everything else down. I didn't say much to my mom. I just looked her in the eyes and said, "Family doesn't try to ruin your life." And I walked away. We went no contact with most of my mom's side of the family after that. It hurt. I won't lie. Sometimes at night, I still think about it. How many holidays, birthdays, future memories were burned to the ground because one person couldn't stand to see me happy. Sabrina eventually took a plea deal to avoid prison. She got probation, mandatory therapy, community service, and a permanent restraining order. She also had to pay restitution for the damages to our home. It wasn't a lot, a few $1,000s, but knowing she had to sign checks with my name on them,
That was satisfying.
as for me and Liam, we're stronger than ever. We finally took the honeymoon we dreamed of. Italy. Venice. We danced under the stars, ate pasta in hidden alleys, kissed by the water. Real life isn't a fairy tale. There are scars. There are broken pieces that don't fit back the way they used to. But sometimes, when you're brave enough to face the storm, you get to build something stronger after the wreckage. Something real. Something worth it. And sometimes, karma just needs a little push.